So yesterday we were in this and we are continuing from this after that break. So escape sequence in strings. So quotes are not only characters that can be escaped inside a string. There are two reasons to use escaping characters. So to allow you to use characters you may not otherwise be able to type out, such as carriage return, to allow you to represent multiple code in a string without JavaScript misinterpreting what you mean. We learned this from the previous challenges. So some other things to be the code and the output. So this will escape the single quote, this will escape the double quote, escape the backslash. So this slash n will give the new line, it will give the carriage return, and this will be the tab, this will be the word boundary, this will be the form feed. Now then the backslash itself must be escaped in order to display as a backslash. So in this, the backslash itself must be escaped in order to display the backslash. Assign the following three lines of text into the single variable myString using the escape sequence. So how we can escape these lines? Three lines of the text into the single variable. You need to escape sequence to insert special character correctly. You will also need to follow the spacing as it looks like above, with no space between escape sequence or word. The indentation for second line is achieved. So this is achieved using the tab space character, not the regular spaces in here. So this is the tab, this is all the tab. So my string should not contain any space. So in the my string character, what you should give is like this. So change this line, I should give the string like this, the full string. Okay, so let's give, this is the full string in here. So now my string should contain the string first line, second line, third line. Remember the case sensitivity. So first line should be followed by the new line character. So it is should be this, like this. So my string should contain the tab character which follows the new line character. Okay, so like in this the new line, and this should have the tab. The second line will be preceded by the backslash character. There should be new line character between second line and the third line. Again, this should also be the new line. The my string should only contain the characters shown in the instruction. So I think this is good. So first line, then the first line, then the new, and after new line, then the tab and the backslash and the second line. Okay, backslash and the second line. So we think to give, I think we need this. So now we are getting the things. So the third line should be deleted. So I think my string now have the good. So we do not need here also space. So if you run the test, we are good. So going to the next challenge. So concatenating string with plus operator. So in JavaScript JavaScript, when the plus operator is used with the string value, it is called concatenation. You can build a new string out of other string by concatenating them together. So my name is Alan and we are concatenating this is string inside of single quotation with this string. Okay, we are concatenating these two strings which are inside of single quotation with each other. So no, watch out for spaces. So these spaces are also important. So concatenating does not add space between concatenated string, so you will need to add them by yourself. So we are adding after the comma one space in here because this clause will not give the space around them, between them. So example, where our string is I come first and the full stop I come second. So the string, so output will be I come first and I come second would be displayed in the console view, console log this variable. So build the my string from the string this is start and this is end using the plus operator. Be sure to include a space between the two strings. So we need the space in here just like the space after the full stop of the first statement. So how we can do that is, first of all what we have to do is we have to copy the first string. So this string should be inside of quotation. This is the first string and we are adding it with the this is the int. So if we just print this, it will not give space, so we will need here one space. If we run the test now, so my string should be created using var. You should assign the result to the my string. If you run the test, we are good to go. So concatenating string with the plus equals operator. So we can also use the plus equal operator to concatenate the string onto the end of the existing string variable. This can be very helpful to break a long string over several lines. So we can also use the plus equal to operator to concatenate the string onto the end of an existing string. So note, watch out for the spaces. Concatenation does not add the space between concatenated strings, so you will need to add them yourself. So example is this, where our string I come first, then the space in there, and our string plus is equals to I come second. If you do that, it will also concatenate it into this, and if we print if we console log the our string variable, it will give the output like I come first, and after we have added I come second in the same, and we have assigned again to the our string, then I come second also. So build the my string over several lines by concatenating these two strings. This is the first sentence, so if we copy this, so we are copying this, so we are assigning this to the first variable, and what we are doing is we are assigning we are assigning like this, like my string plus with this is the second sentence. So we will need basically here one space. This is the second sentence, we are good. So using the plus equal to. This will also give the same output. Okay, this will also give the should have the value of the string. So this is completed. This will give the same value, because this is adding again into this, and it is becoming equals to my string. But we have to do it by using the plus is equals to operator. So it is same thing. So uh, terminate it by the semicolon. If you run the test, now we are good to go. Constructing strings with variables. Sometimes you need to build a strong, like Matlab's style, by using concatenating operator. Plus, you can insert one or more variable into the string you are building. Example: this is the variable name like this, and our string is the another variable name. Now what we are doing is, hello, our name is, and we are concatenating this variable into in here, and again concatenating. So we are constructing our strings with um, uh, using another variable. Okay, we are concatenating using the plus operator. We are inserting one or more variable into the string we are recently building. So our string would have the value of string hello, my name is, then this free code camp, and how are you. Set my name. Now what we have to do is set my name to a string equal to your name, and build the my string with my name between the string my name is and I am well. My name should be set to a string at least 3 characters. So we are giving here the name. What we are doing is giving here the name, and in here what we are doing is we will be giving like, so I think you know my name is, then we are giving one space in here, and then we are adding this variable in here, again adding with. So we will have here one full stop, and I think, okay, my name is, then the name, and one space, and I am well, just like the exercise we are here. So my name is, then I am well. If you run the test, we are good to go. Appending variables to strings. Just as we can build a string over multiple lines out of string literal, we can append variables to a string. Appending variables to string. Just as we can build a string over multiple lines out of string literal, we can also append variable to a string using plus is equals to operator. Example: an adjective is equals to awesome, and our string free code camp, and same as the previous challenges, an adjective we are adding after this an adjective. Our string would have the value of free code camp is awesome. Set some adjective to a string of at least 3 characters, and append learning to code is. So we are giving here same as the above awesome, and the variable my string is equals to learning to code is awesome. So how we can concatenate it by, so we are assigning again, reassigning the my string with. So what we are doing is plus is equals to we are adding the sum adjective variable in here. Terminate it by the semicolon. If you run the test, we are good to go. Find the length of a string. You can find the length of a string value by writing dot length after the string variable or the string literal. So if you console log, this is the string, and if you put the dot length, it will give the it will log the length. Okay, so this is the 10. So 1 2 3 4, the space 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So value would be 10 displayed in the console. For example, if you created a variable by the first name ADA, we would find out how long the string ADA is by using first name dot length property. So use the length property to count the number of characters in the last name variable and assign it to the last name length. So last name, so only changes to this. So variable, so we have already assigned the last name length variable in here with 0. Okay, and this is the another variable string we have initialized in here. So we have to reassign the variable length of a variable value into the last name length. So if you give the last name dot length, it will give the length of this last name variable, which is the publish, and it will give 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. Okay, 8, it will give the 8. You should not change the variable declaration in the setup section. We have to not change this. So last name should be equal to 8. The output should be the 8. You should be getting the length of the last name by using dot length, like last name dot length. If you run the test, we are good to go. So use brackets notation to find the first character in the string. So bracket notation is a way to get a character at a specific index within a string. Most modern programming language like JavaScript don't start counting at 1 like humans do. They start at 0. This is referred to the zero based indexing. Okay. Uh, so in the bracket notation, the most of the modern programming language like JavaScript and other things, other old programming language also like C, Java also start counting from the 0 index, so which is also known as zero based indexing. For example, the character at index 0 in the word Charles is C. So this is 0 index. So this is the 1 2 3 4 5 6. So if the variable first name is equals to Charles, you can get the value of the first letter of string by using first name, and inside of the bracket notation we can give the index. Okay, we are extracting the first letter using the zero based indexing. Okay, so 0 would give the first letter. If you give this here, if you give the 4 value, what would it give? So 0 1 2 3 4, it will give the L. So similarly, example, first name Charles, the first letter, first name, and the index is 0. Last letter will be 4 5 6. Okay, if we give in here 6, it would print S, which is the last letter. First letter would have the value of the string C. Use bracket notation to find the first letter in the last name variable and assign it to the first letter of the last name. Okay, try looking at the example above if you get stuck. So the first letter of the string we have initialized with the empty string, and the last name is the Loveless, and the first letter of the last name. So how we can extract the first letter of this last name variable is just simply by giving the index inside of the this uh, this square brackets, and give the index which always start from the 0. So if you run the test, it will give the first letter of the last name variable. So understanding the string immutability. Okay, so in JavaScript, string value are immutable, which means they cannot be changed or altered once they are created. Okay, for example, the following code. So the my string is Bob. Okay, and if we try to change the my strings and the first letter of this string with the J, which means Job, if you want to make it Job, cannot change the value of the my string to job. Okay, because the contents of the my string cannot be altered. Note that this does not mean that my string cannot be changed, just that the individual character of the string literals cannot be changed. The only way to change my string would be to assign it with the new string. Like this, we would directly assign it to the new string, but we cannot alter the variable. Okay, variable contents. So correct the assignments to my string so it contains the string value of the hello world using the approach shown in the above. So correct the assignment to my string so it contains the string value hello world. So we cannot only change the code below this line my string, so we cannot change like this, change this line. So instead of what we can do is we can give this the full, we can change this full thing. So copy whole of this and paste in here and delete this. So we are changing the whole string of this variable. So my string should have the value of the string hello world. Now you should change the code above the specified comment. So if you run the test, use bracket notation to find the nth character in the string. So you can find the you can also use bracket notation to get the character at one or another position within the string. So you can use the bracket notation to get the character at other position within the string. Remember that computer start counting at 0, so the first character is actually 0th character. Example, the first name ADA, the second letter of the first name how we can print it is by giving the index 1 of the first name. Okay, it will give this D. So second letter of the first name would have the value of the string D. Let's try to set the third letter of the string uh, uh, to equal the third letter of the last name variable using the bracket notation. So this is the last name, so we have to get the third letter of the last name. So one, so third letter. Okay, so third letter, this is the 1 2 3. We have to extract this V. Okay, so starting from 0 1 2, so how we can do it is uh, into the 2. So if you run the test, so variable should have the value V. You should use the bracket notation. If you run the test, use bracket notation to find the last character in the string. So in order to get the last letter of the string, you can subtract 1 from the string length. So for example, if var first name ADA, you can get the value of the last letter of the string by using the first name. So how we can get the last letter? So in this we know we have the last letter in the 0 1 2 second index, but if the string is too long, so how we can get the last letter of the string by the calculating the first name dot length and subtracting it by 1, it will give this index, because our original string positioning started from the 0th index. So if you give the first name ATA, the last letter, so if you give the first name dot length minus 1, the last letter would have the value of the A, this smaller a. Use bracket notation to find the last character of the last name variable. Try looking at the example. Last letter of the name should have the character E, like this E. You should use the dot length. So how we can do that is last name, and inside of this object note bracket object notation bracket notation, what we can do is we can calculate the length of this last name variable and subtract it by 1, it will give the last letter. So if you run the test, use bracket notation to find the nth to last character of the string. So you can use the same principle we use to retrieve the last character in the string to retrieve the nth to last character. For example, you can use the value of the third to last letter of the variable first name Augusta string by using first name their length and that's it. So you can get the third last letter. So in the first name, so we have to get this S. How we can do that is from the negative index we have the third, so what we can do is minus 3 in the length of the by the length of the first name variable. Use the bracket to get the second to last letter. Okay, second to last letter means this second for the last letter. From the last it is the second C. So I can get that is last name, and inside of indexing last name dot length minus 2, like that. If you run the test, so now word blanks. So we will now use our knowledge of the string to build the Mad Libs style word game. We are calling this the word blanks. You will create an optionally humorous fill in the blanks style sentences. In the Mad Libs game, you will provided sentences with some missing words like noun, verbs, adjective, and adverbs. Then you will fill in the missing pieces with words of your choice in the way that the completed sentences make sense. Consider this sentence: it was really dash and we really ourselves dash. This sentence has three missing pieces: an adjective, a verb, and the adverb. We will add word of our choice to complete it. We can then assign the completed sentence to a variable. So it was really, this is the sentence: it was really space hot and we laughed ourselves silly. So in this challenge we provided you with a noun, a verb, and adjective. You need to form a complete sentence using the words of your choice. Along with the word we provide, you need to use the string concatenating operator plus to build a new string. Use the provided variables my noun, my adjective, my verb, and my adverb. You will then assign the formed string to the word blanks variable, which is in here. You should not change the word assigned to the variable. You should not change these or these. You will also need to account for spacing in your string so that the file sentences has spaces between all the words. The results should be a complete sentence. Word blanks should be an string. You should not change the value assigned to none. So how we can do that is my space and this. So we can do here is the my noun and my dog my dog is then my add. Now we are adding the adjective. So my dog is big. Then we will need here the what we need here just the full stop. My dog is full stop. So you should not directly use the value dog and output be create word blank. Word blank should contain all of the word assigned to the variable separated by not word character and any additional word in your matlib. So first of all we have to explore this matlibs. What is this? So we can do the dog. So this is the game. This is the simple game, okay, where we have to complete the things. So if I get that sentence, so or we can create our own also. So like this, maybe we can get that dog big ran quickly. Okay, dog big ran. Dog ate my mat left. So what we can here do is now he. Oh sorry. In here now we can do is he plus. Also we have to do the space in here and we have to add the my verb in here plus he my verb one space in here again here quickly. So add verb, okay, so add here add verb. So if it will give the so my space dog space is space big, okay, then the full stop space he space is, so he space ran space quickly, or we can do here one full stop. So if we run the test we are good. So if you want to get your test output will go here, but there is no any output. This is like this. So let's move on to the next topic. So we store multiple values in a one variable using the JavaScript arrays. With JavaScript array variable, we can store several pieces of data in one place. So you start an array declaration with an opening square brackets and end with a close square bracket. Put the comma between the each entries. Okay, each entries of the string or the numbers or the characters, we put a comma, we separate it by the comma. Modify the new array my array so that it contains both the string and the number in that order. Both it contains the string or string and a number. So the string, this is the string, and we need on another number, okay, like this. So we need a number like 1 million subs, 1 million subscribers. So we have to always separate the arrays variables by using the comma. So what we need is one is the string and a number, so we have to get the number. So number, what we can do, number is, so number is not in written inside the string, you can directly keep like this. So if you run the test, submit and go to the next challenge. So nest one array with another array. You can also create the nested arrays within the other arrays like below. Like inside of this array we have the arrays. So this is the collection of array, which is also known as the multi-dimensional array. So inside of each array we have the two array inside the array, and inside of these two arrays we have the two uh, variables. One is the string and another is the number, and one is the string and another is number. So create a nested array called my array. So inside of the single array, so this the variable my array, what we can do is create two array. So this become the multi-dimensional array, which is the two-dimensional array. So inside of this should have at least one array nested with another array. Okay, we can have the one array nested with another array. So here we only need the number, and inside of this what we can do is in the program code and the one like this. So I'm requiring these things. If you run the test, go to the next. So access array data with indexes. Okay, we can access the data inside array using the indexes. Array indexes are written in the same bracket notation that string use, except that instead of specifying the character, they are specifying an entry in the array. Like string, array use zero-based indexing, so the first element of the array has the index of 0. So in the string, what we have there is they have specified the array indexing from the characteristic in the string, but we have the elements, and the elements are indexed, yeah, by using the zero-based indexing. So in the array 50, 60, 70, if you get the 0, it will get the 50, and it is saved into the data. So data array 0 is 40, and inside of data is 60. Data is the value of 60. Note that there shouldn't be any spaces between the array name and the square brackets. Okay, there should not be any sort of space in here, in this particular like this. Okay, here is the example. Although JavaScript is able to process this correctly, this may confuse other programmers. It will not throw an error, but it is confusing, so you can always use this type of indexing. Okay, create the variable called my data and set it equal to the first value of the my array using the bracket notation. So how we can do that is create a new variable which is the my data, and inside of here what we have to do is this should be equal to the first value of my array using bracket notation. So in the my arrays, so we can ex extract the first value just by giving the 0th index. It will give this 50. So if you run the test, so these are the requirements. If you run the test, modify array data with indexes. Unlike string, the entries of the array are mutable and can be changed freely. Okay, so string are unmutable, but the entries of the arrays are mutable, that they can be changed using the indexing. Okay, so our array, if we change this, our array 0 indexing, which is 50 to 15, it will now have the value 15, and the other thing are same. There shouldn't be any spaces between the array like this. Although JavaScript is able to process this correctly, this may confuse the programmers. Modify the data stored at the 0th index of my array to the value of 45. So we have to give the first, so we have to alter the value so of the my array. So my array, uh, which one, the 0th index should have now the value of 45. So now 45, 64, 99, just like this, correctly indexed to modify the value in the array. So the in the array, so now this should be below this. Run the test. Now access multi-dimensional arrays with indexes. One way to think of the multi-dimensional array is the arrays of arrays. So what is the multi-dimensional arrays? This is the arrays. Okay, these arrays, types of arrays. So these are the uh, arrays. Okay, but these are just the elements, but inside of the array, which is the arrays of arrays. When you use bracket to access your array, the first set of bracket refers to the entries of the outermost, the first level array. Okay, and each additional pair of the bracket refers to the next level of the entries inside. So if this is the example, okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, this is same as in here, and if you get this 3, so what we'll get is 7 8 9. So ARR3 is 0 1, sorry, 0 1 2 and 3. It will give this array. Okay, this is another array in here. Okay, this is another array in here, so it will give the third array. 1 2 3 4 array are in there, so inside of this fourth array is another array, like that. And if you give the 3 and the 0, so this is the 3 and the 0, then it will give the 10 11 12. And if you give the 3 0 and 1 in the 3th, okay, 0 1 2 3th, in the 0th, this 3th, and in the 0th and in the 1th, it will give the 11. There shouldn't be any spaces between the array name, the square brackets like this or even this. Okay, it is not allowed, but although JavaScript is able to process this correctly, this may confuse the other programmers reading your code. Using the bracket notation, select the element from the my array such that the my data is equal to 8. So we have to, oh okay, we have to extract this one. So what we have to do is, so from everything is given, my using the bracket select the element of the my such that my data is equal, so this should be 8. So how we can do it? First of all, we have to get into these things. Okay, we have to get into this. So how we can do that is 0 1 2. So in here is 2, and inside of the 2 we have to get the 1. Okay, so we are now inside of this. So inside of this 0 1 and this is 2, so 0 1, so 2 1. So it will give the my data should be equal to 8. You should be using bracket notation to read the correct value, so which is good. Run the test. So manipulate arrays with push function. Okay, an easy way to append data to the end of the array is using the push function. Okay, dot push, then the function takes one or more parameters and pushes them onto the end of the array. Okay? Push will always push any element to the end, okay, end of the array. Example, if this is the array 1 1 2 3, if you push in here, it will array 1 now will have the value of 1 2 3 4. Similarly, this is the array 2 and Stephen Stimson J cat, and if you push into this Stephen J cat happy joy, like this, but we have pushed the another another array in here, so after the comma it will have the another array. So push dog these things. Okay, so this whole array, okay, we have to push the array into the my array variable. So inside, so we have the John 23 cat 2. Similarly, we have to do, what we have to do is, inside of my array we have to dot use the push function to push this onto the last, so it is appending at the very end of this array. So dog also 3. So if we terminate this by the semicolon, so now should be equal to like this. So if you run the test, manipulate arrays with the pop function. Another way to change the data in an array is with the dot pop function. The dot pop function is used to pop the value of the end of the array. Okay, if you want to remove the element of the end of the array, we use the pop function. We can store this popped of value by assigning it to a variable. Okay, so it is really useful. We can use that popped value to be stored in somewhere else using by assigning another value variable. In other words, the pop function removes the last element from the array and returns that element. It will remove the element from that array and it will return that element, so that you can save or assign it to another variable. Any type of entry can be popped off an array, like the numbers, strings, even the nested array also you can pop. So in here the three array 1 4 6, another one is, So what we are doing is we are popping the three arrays last element, the 6, and the 6 is now assigning to the one down variable. If you console log this one down variable, it will give the 6. Similarly, if we now print the 3 array, which is this array, it will only give the array with the two elements, which is 1 and 4, display the value. Use the dot pop function to remove the last element from my array, assigning the pop value to the removed from the pop array. So we have to pop this whole item from the array. My array should only contain the zone 23 because so we only need this. So how we can do? So I want to give you the demonstration. So how we can pop that is by this my array dot pop. So it will pop the last element, but we have to assign it the popped value. We have to assign the popped value to the remove. So we can cut this and paste in here like this. Now we should use the pop function on the my array. Remove my function should contain now this contains the popped array, and this will now contain the my array will now contain the zone 23. Going to the next challenge. So manipulating arrays with the shift function. So pop function always remove the last element of the array, but if you want to remove the first element, that's where the shift function comes in. It works just like the pop function, except it removes the first element instead of the last. It just works like the pop function, so that we can remove, and it will return that removed value. Similarly, this shift function is same like that, but it will remove from the first index. So if we remove from our end, use the shift function in the our array, and remove function would have the extension, and our array would have j and the array of the cat. Use the shift function to remove the first item of the my array, assign the shift of value to the remove from the my array. So how we can do that is remove from the array, and inside of here we can do we have shift. Use the shift function to remove this zone 23 and save it inside the removed from the array, and my array would now have the dog and 3, which is the double multi-dimensional array. So similarly, manipulating arrays with unshift. Not only you can shift the element of the beginning of the array, you can also unshift the element of the beginning of the array, add element in front of the array. So if you want to add the element in front of the array, so what was similar, it is alternating to the push function. So dot unshift works exactly like the push function, but instead of adding the element at the end of the array, unshift adds the element at the beginning of the array. So for example, var our array, this is the extension jcat, our array dot shift will remove, so remove the first one extension, and now if you unshift happy, now in place of the extension it will be saved as this happy string. So after this shift, our array would have the j and the cat. but after the unshift our array would have again happy j cat. So add Paul 35 this array of string and the number to the beginning of the array using the unshift function. My array should now have the Paul 35 dog. So only change the code below. So it is shifting, which means it is removing this John 23 from here. Now we have to add into there. So into the array we want to add in the first index, so using the unshift function, and we are passing here the function. So which one is this? So we are passing this parameter. Insert new elements at the stage of the array and returns the length of the array also. So if you run the test, so now creating a shopping list in a variable my list. This is the list should be multi-dimensional array containing several sub arrays. The first element in each sub array should contain the string with the name of the item. The second element should be the number representing the quantity. So the chocolate bar and the 15. There should be at least 5 sub arrays in the list. My list should be array, which is already, if you run the test, this is already the first element in the in each of the sub arrays. So inside of this you should at least have the 5 element in the list. The second element is sub array, so 2 elements will have the sub array. The first element in the, so we need what we need are the 5 elements like 1 2 and now the 1 2 and 3. Okay, let's give 3 4 and the 5 we have this, and inside the first element in each of the sub arrays should all be string. So inside of this array all things should be string. So ninja and the programmer, and inside of this everything should be the second element in each of the sub arrays should all be the number. I think this second will be like same like this. So there are ninjas, one ninja, and now the programmer are the two, then the 3 4 5 like this. I think this is good. If you run the test, the first element in each of the sub arrays should all be string. The first element, so I think I think like this is the case it is happening, or so there should be at least 5 sub arrays in the list. The first element of the sub array should have the string. Okay. So I think like this programmer. So o similarly yt similarly channel. So ninja 1, programmer 2, co 3, yt 4, channel 5. If you run the test, now it's good.